16 PUBG teams on the wall, 16 PUBG teams. Take one down, pass it around, still 16 PUBG teams on the wall. All right, so we got everything set. You can tell it's back on us. So we have got our new team situated, and we are getting ready to jump right into game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the USG Donuts coming in. Our Japanese representative, a team that has won a game at least so far this tournament. So who knows? It's only one, but I got an interesting stat here for you, my friend. Yeah. So we had 5 teams coming into today to this grand survival that had 3 chicken dinners. That was the most anybody had, was 3 chicken dinners coming into this out of all of our teams that are present. Okay, we had 5 of them. 4 of those were our Final 4 teams. So New Happy, Petrichor Road, Cerberus, and 22 Esports all had 3 chicken dinners so far this event. The only other team that has 3 chicken dinners so far this event that was not present in our Final 4, of course, because it's not possible, Buram United.
Well then, does that mean that Buram is due? Or does that mean the fact that everybody else is already stacked up something?
Let's lean into the gambler's fallacy. Yes, Buram's due. Let's go.
Wait, you told me yesterday that the gambler's fallacy never works.
Yeah, but I changed my mind.
All right, see,
I'm a gambler. What can I say?
When it comes time for
roll
Buram,
the dice, gambler.
Wow, we already got some yells going on, man.
Yeah, man, they're fired up.
All right. I just almost kind of wish you guys could hear some of the, we should just mic the players at some point. Just put a microphone right in the middle of it so you can hear. Every once in a while, they do point across at each other, that since we have the teams just looking directly at each other across this opening, so it makes it kind of fun. Speaking of fun, we do have drops coming in, but nothing crazy. Looks like everybody's going to go ahead and get to somewhere safe. Buram makes a jump in, and hey, we're down in the south, but not southwest.
Yeah, this is kind of a slightly different circle than maybe some of the Miramars we saw yesterday, right? This is more likely to just kind of drift to the south area underneath Los Leones. There's some fields and other things down there. Could go northwest as well. Those are kind of the 2 most likely directions that it's going to want to drift. But of course, anything's possible. As we saw yesterday, we saw some that circle on the first game is extremely rare. Where it ended, by that road way down on the south coast, extraordinarily rare that it ends there. So
I feel
that
like
was
we're
fun.
Getting some of those.
You know what?
Just a few.
I'm all about it. I mean, I was waiting for the island circle. I mean, can you imagine a grand survival game with an island circle matchroom?
I can only imagine social media afterwards. Okay, so this is a circle that pretty much everybody should know. Los Leones is in the center of it. The area to the south of Picado is pretty open, but then once you move more to the coastline, just to the south of Los Leones, and the curve around it, there's a lot more grass, a lot more hills. The roads are going to kind of make their own ravines moving through. So don't be surprised to see a lot of teams leaning into the south, but Quetpa is going to go ahead and find himself non to get a knock early, and I think that that's pretty much going to be all she wrote there, because Quetpa's all by himself, and no reinforcements look to be coming from New Happy.
Well, this is both teams making kind of unusual moves in the early game. So Quetpa from BBL has opted to land here, basically. Center circle very early. Didn't get noted by New Happy, or if they did note it, they thought maybe they could punish it. With the way Non drove at that, I'm not so sure he noticed. And this is an early rotation out of New Happy. I'd say earlier than I'm used to. Of course, Quetpa's going to punish it.
Ming Ming is kind of venturing over there, but I don't think it's going to be too much more. SGD already roaming over here, and that means the fact that Zipian for New Happy, if he were to go to the west to try to reinforce, could bump into them. So really, I think that we're going to see New Happy stay Los Leones for just a second, finish out their looting. BBL, though, at least has a foothold. Question is, does SGD want that foothold?
Yeah. I think they do. Or at least some kind of... They're going to contest somebody for space here.
Apparently they want Ming Ming.
Yeah. I think they drove away from the BBL foothold at the last second there. Ming Ming's just like, no, sir, I cannot by myself, by any reasonable stretch of the imagination, hold that.
Next level strategies coming up from BBL. Just make Quetpa drop where you want to go, and then he doesn't have to drive there.
Yeah. That's...
See, that one took a second, didn't it?
It did. I'm like, what are you... Oh, right. The previous game. Yeah, that's... Poor Quetpa. Hey, he made up for it. He made up for it.
Yeah.
I say in this game, he's made up for it. You know what, shockingly, Matchroom? BBL this tournament, no wins, no chicken dinners.
That's... I think it's...
It's shocking.
We talk
Look
about
how good they've been playing,
like,
right?
Could they be deserved? BBL, I feel, could almost be deserved. Okay, in this lobby, look, okay, we got Petrichor Road, we've got New Happy, we've got FaZe, we got BBL. There's so much in here. Like, I can just go through this lobby and figure out each one of them could have a chance.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, this is, again, all the lobbies are so stacked in this event. You just feel like anyone can come out of it. They just need a good day. And this is, of course, you need a good game. That's all it is, one good game.
Reminder to everybody, it's been a hot minute since we've done some Winner Chicken Dinner. Early rotations are big in this. You want to make sure that you're playing your geometry, trying to get to the center. You want to rotate as least as possible. You want to get the strong compounds before anybody else. You don't want to have to fight for them. And so that's why we're seeing much earlier rotations coming into play for a lot of these teams. And looks like Savior is getting pretty close over into New Happy's territory. We'll have to see if the rest of the team's going to come in and support. This is a very widespread coming out from them.
Yeah, we've seen a few of these spy missions for Savior, for GEX, here in the last couple of days, where he's gone out on his own, kind of gotten into the territory of the other teams undetected. What he's going to do with this information is yet to be decided. I mean, since it is chicken dinner format, I think it's going to be maybe more cautious than we're used to seeing previously, so he might just be saying, okay, I hear guys here, just keep your eyes on them. I'm going to wait this out, you know, see if you can keep the angles covered for me. But if you can look, you look from Savior's position down to his west here, there will be people who can see him as time rolls on, as teams move in.
This is hazardous 1-1-2 split, though. Like, we've been talking about, like, the need to crash locations and get positionals early. This could be pretty greedy from GEX and come back and bite them. Specifically, it's not like Savior is going to be able to, like, wipe all of New Happy without somebody noticing that. So
yeah,
we'll have to keep an eye on that situation as it develops. Meanwhile, we move back into our helicopter traffic update. We've got most of our teams now starting to come in that haven't already made their center rotations. Most notably, you can see it's going to be EIQ that's going to be coming in around the south. That means back to FaZe, Burram, as well as GEX and New Happy could all get vision on them in just a moment.
Please do it. Oh.
I love the fact that whenever we go into Winner Chicken Dinner,
there's more bolts.
Bolts come back, baby.
Yes, sir. I love it too. I do absolutely love it. I mean, FaZe there just looking for some shots, and Tropic's going to roll up underneath Buriram split. Looks like Buriram is a 2-2, if my eyes don't deceive me, on the map. The other thing about that GX thing, I want to go back to that for a moment, because that's maybe going to be the only fighting, potentially, depending on how aggressive and Tropic gets down here.
Polish Power in 22 might have one in a second.
Nah, they're not going to fight. They're fine. No, and Tropic actually got too close to Buriram. Touch the sun here a bit. They could. GX might set up for a trap play here, where they make some noise, wait for New Happy to poke their heads out, and then maybe Savior could get a jump on him.
Well, here we go. Polish Power now lined up. Norcus is going to be roaming in front.
Oh wait, Marcel.
Yes, they took a couple of shots. Yeah, see,
I should know better. They're going to fight.
I don't know if 22 is going to want to have anything to do with this, and it looks like, yeah, they're just going to try to extricate themselves over to the west. And, I mean, this is north of Los Leones, and almost everybody's playing the south. I do want to point out, Sonics actually did opt into a Los Leones, move here.
Yeah.
This is kind of early to go for Los Leones move. This is kind of a gamble saying, hey, if it goes here, great.
Or it's also kind of a pivot position. So, in this case, the circle, again, it has two directions that it's most likely to go, either kind of northwestish or south. Those are the two most likely. It can go any direction it wants, but those are the most likely. So I like this from Sonics because, again, it gives you the ability to pivot into either of those directions, especially if it goes south, because you're going to play from high ground to low ground the rest of the time, and we've seen a lot of teams do really well with it.
So, donuts on drumstick. Are we having just one of those types of breakfasts?
I don't pretend to understand the mind of the donuts.
I've heard of, like, chicken and waffles, but I've never heard of chicken and donuts.
Chicken and donuts? I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure somebody's tried it.
Oh,
and I'm sure
in
it's
America,
amazing.
I guarantee
at some state
happened.
fair, somebody's tried it.
So, really, the calm is coming in off of this. Polish Power also going to Los Leones. I want to also point out that Sonics is leaning into those western warehouses, that sight line over there. So, it is not necessarily as much of a Polish Power send as we've got. BGP still on their pathing over into the west. DG98 might find himself two crates stacked pretty close to each other for free because nobody's even around there except for maybe FaZe. 8C might be using him as a trap.
Yeah, 8C might have a sight line down onto it from his position, depending on how keen he is to watch them. It is a little bit risky to get out there and start poking around because, again, we've seen how good the players are in these lobbies. We've seen the sniper capabilities that these players all have, just how phenomenal they all are. So it is risky, but I think 8C depending on what happens with FaZe. I see them kind of watching the donuts cross by them. There's some shots ringing out, so maybe that might distract his attention enough that BagelPop can get these crates. I do see them angling for it on the map. Here come those bolts from FaZe. You know what? I am now rooting for FaZe because they're using bolts.
Yeah,
it is official.
High ground, bolts,
yeah,
loving it. So we'll have to see how this is going to move forward. New circle is going to pop in just 1 second. T5 is going to be coming in to your northwest. As you can see, the only team that has not yet made a movement. So we're going to be leaning into the south. A lot of the teams already positioned up over here. The west is going to be the most open. So a lot of these teams that are up in the north can choose to probably do a longer wrap. But really, BGP find themselves in a pretty strong position, as well as FaZe, BBL, a lot of those early movements.
All right, I can tell you that most of the BGP players are not fans of AWMs. Pio will always pass on it. Songjong might grab it. I see him toy with it from time to time. Now Long and Leo have gotten dangerously close to each other. The reinforcements for SGD, Jervis on the way. Long wants no part of this early game fight because, I mean, as we've seen, SGD not afraid to get hot and heavy early.
Yeah, and a lot of the teams just playing numbers. This isn't a high-value location, not worth it. Tai Lu's going to be running right next to GEX. As you can see that they're trying to regroup right over there. Some shots going to be coming into Tai Lu. Nothing too crazy, just going to use the dip on the other side to try to avoid most of the directed damage. This is going to be the running theme for the next couple of rotations. This is very vertical. There's a lot of different sections that you can kind of lean away from. You can use the hills. People are going to be taking shots, but it's not going to be as clean as some of, and a lot of these rotations are going to get really, really close to each other, but there's still safety to be had here in doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Miramar in general. I mean, like, there's a little extra kind of safety inherent to the map in a way because of the terrain and the way it operates. Now, BagelPop's Pio took a little bit of damage here, flirting, I think, with a couple different teams, whether that be FaZe or USG, that did that damage. They're just going to use this dip as a staging point. They're going center. This is BagelPop kind of changing up their game plan from what we see, you know, from the way they play in a typical super settings match where they are kind of an edge team. They're looking to set up traps early, you know, try to play not third party, but trying to find weaknesses in setups from teams. You know, we saw it with the Sonics where they wiped them out, that Compound and Erangel. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of like this from BagelPop, but most likely the circle's going to go either north or east. It can hard shift southwest eventually. We'll see what it wants to do in the next phase because it's not phase 3 yet, so we don't know for sure how much land ratio it's going to remove.
Really, everybody, even cruel, mean Matt over here, wants this to go more to the south or to the west. In the north, it's just, no. That's all I can really say up there. It's pretty open. There are a lot of dips, some crevices that you can play, a couple of hillsides, but it's going to turn into just a Mad Max or dash for everything.
Should go east. Yeah.
And so hopefully we will see it go into some of these different areas because, yes, okay, yeah, I like
should
crazy.
Go east.
I like some chaos.
Me too.
But we're on chicken dinner now, so we need to make sure that we're playing as safe.
You and I bring in the chaos already. I mean, I don't know what it is about us.
Military-based game, see, I'm appeased.
I don't know what it is when you and I get together that we just get the most banana circles. I still need the Los Leones one, though. That one's a must for you and I. I love those.
We might see that. We'll have to see how this moves. Oh, technically this week. It is Monday now, right?
I lost track. Yes, it's Monday because yesterday we made the face.
I don't even
Sunday
know. I'm
joke.
like technically 10 hours behind what's going on right now. You can see it's just continued shots. That one early first blood has been about it, and that's going to be how it goes over here. It's just Miramar is going to Miramar, and some shots. Knocks could happen, but nobody's going to try to send. Nobody's probably going to try to flush until we see rotations come in on the next circle that is going to go to the south.
Oh, hello. If you liked that Miramar circle from yesterday, you might be getting it again because this one is starting to drift in that general direction, but we'll find out where it wants to go next. It still doesn't have to go there, as teams now are going to have to make it scramble. Again, everybody, the reason if you look at the map, everybody's on the east is because that is the most likely direction that eventually the circle is going to go. It did not do it because Matt and I love chaos.
Yes. I mean, well, everybody talks to us beforehand and asks us where we want the circles to be. So really good of PUBG to make sure that they support us.
It definitely, yes.
Before anybody starts, dude,
we
that's
have
just sarcasm.
say in the where the circles
go. It's just a joke. Okay. With this, USG actually in a pretty good spot, as well as Polish Power and BGP pretty centered. T5 already rotating in. 22 is going to be coming in from the north. The north and west still open. So Petrichor Road, Sonics, New Happy could all find some pathing. Over there's Tai Lu. You can see trying to crash in. Everybody is trying to condense into this, but hills are still creating a problem. Nade's going to be coming out just to say, hey, no, do not crash onto this building because you are going to get toasted if you do.
Oh, Gustav just hit a bolt shot, and I'm so happy right now. Way to go, Vinny. Knocked out by Norcus. He is going to be down and out for 22. He was the lead man on the bike, though, kind of just opening up space. Oh, 22's going to drive right into Bagel Pop, but they've got him up. They've got him under the sight line. 2 down from Sungjong Spray.
And now where do you go? Hazeton, last one up, says, right here, this is fine. These hay bales are about to become my life. Now, I guess he could go back to the west. Looks like that's what he's going to try to do. No other team's really going to have the cleanest sight line yet. Bullish Power might in just a second. New Happy's wrapping all the way around from the east and coming into the north, so they might intersect in a while, depending on how this goes. Petrichor Road also playing the top of this cliffside right over here. Sonics is going to rotate to the west of them, so that's going to be the distraction that Hazeton needs to try to find some safety.
Yeah, absolutely. Petrichor Road's going to watch that rotation from the Sonics. I loved what Overpeakers did here, got underneath. I love what Sonics are doing. They're going to be playing from a potentially really powerful position, just like we saw with the Freaks yesterday.
Oh, no,
the tire's gone. He's got to fight.
Hazeton, you didn't want this. That's Ming Ming on the other side. He was just taking some go-away bullets, and it looks like they connected, and now Ming Ming's over here. He doesn't know what he's wanting to do. This has stopped him out. We still have the rest of New Happy that is going to be coming. Jan is in front of him at the time, but now with Ming Ming down here, he's going to move forward, and hey, remember those crates we were talking about a second ago that nobody wanted?
Well, this is another team that isn't always keen on the AWM, especially a player like Ming Ming. Generally not wanting it. If there were level 3 gear in there, of course they'd take it. Here he has a 3 best, but yeah, that was already snagged up much earlier. Now, Jeems going to be watching the Sonics win. Has not spotted Jeems at all. Let's see if Jeems is going to pull the trigger. No.
I mean, OP, they control a lot. They're running a full 4-man split across the southwest, as you can see. So this team, you can see their focus on trying to make sure to control area, get some kills. Circle is going to pop, leans into the north, so they should be able to condense in. Jeems being that close to Sonics is, I don't know, almost poking a hornet's nest, because you know Overpeakers are going to go, they're going to try to defend this, and if Sonics ventures into this direction, it could be bad.
Yeah, Jeems is kind of on the cliff side there, so he might be able to keep himself hidden
it's him
from
and
the
Cliff
Sonics.
Covering each other.
Yes, yeah. If the Sonics start peeking up and over, right, he should, in theory, have cover as well. That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, this is going to end pretty similar to what we saw yesterday with the Freaks. So I think really, like, Petrichor Road could have a really good chance at this one. Compound is going to be completely controlled by Theratop 5. They seem to have grabbed an AWM. Don't know if it was the one we saw earlier or not, but, they've got a good power position. It's just, can they lock it down?
Teams that are on the outside of the circle, and this is starting to get a pretty small circle, considered. Burram, you saw them just stop in. They still have 2 on the outside. GEX are going to have to make a rotation in. And whenever I said rotation, I didn't mean to, like, rotate your vehicle going down the hillside, but I guess it works in the end. Buggy's going to buggy. Now we also have BBL as well as SGD that are all going to need to make a move in. Bullish Power's going to have vision. Remember Hazeton just a second ago, he might spot them out as well. And instead, they're going to shift to the south, and it's going to be T5's angle. But T5 is actually looking at a Petrichor Road and all down to the south. This just became an open pathing because T5 isn't even glancing this direction yet.
Yeah, there's enough room on this hill now that SGD should be able to get here pretty safe. I think Leo's going to be... Nope, he got knocked by Smash, actually, from BBL. So it's actually BBL driving up the backside at the exact same angle that SGD was. They want to take that space. Leo's going to be flushed by Hazelton still inside the shack.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't have anybody from T5 leaning into the top of that hillside to make sure nobody could come into this. BBL now just going to have to stop where they're at, and they're living that sprinklers lifestyle now, as they're going to stop in. BGP is going to be very close. Polish Power is also going to have some vision into this. New Happy doesn't have the cleanest sight lines, but it's going to be Code Marco, who has been a big player for BBL, already going down by Pio, who is always a big player.
He's always in it. He's always looking for those long-range kills, even in chicken dinner format. It's almost like he can't help himself. It's old habits die hard for him. FaZe, though, right in the back lines of BGP. I don't think they know it. Hazelton trying to get taken out by BBL, but it's actually HS from New Happy that shuts that push down. In fact, they've lost another.
Gustav is venturing in, and this might be a distraction to allow some of BBL to reset in. Code Marco is going to get taken down. It's going to be HS on the opposite angle for this one. Really, Haston benefiting from the amount of just aggression that's happening around him right now. Nobody's capable of moving in. Megapod still trying to defend this area. FaZe trying to creep in, get some more control. It does look like FaZe is going to make a full wave push over into the east. Diggory's already repositioned around it, looking into the dip. So now he's going to be able to take some shots, but he's going to go down. DG just spins back around into this one. Nate's going to come out from FaZe. Circle's going to pop, and it's going to go to the south. That means the fact that this fight needs to end quickly because FaZe knows that this is no longer a territory that they're going to try to control. So how do they want to move through this one? It's going to be 8C now moving down in the dip, seeing if he can spot some more with it. Haston does finally get spotted out, so he's going to be eliminated as well as 22. But now, FaZe, how much of this do you want to commit to?
Well, they have to recover. With Diggory down, they got to start thinking about trying to get back for the res, waiting for Bagel Pa to come over. Gustav right up close and personal with Sungjong and Pio, but Pio there to trade just barely. Gustav almost got the turn on him. Now Vex is trying to push it. He knows Pio is weak. He's got the knock. It's 2 up for FaZe. It's 2 up for Bagel Pa.
DG tossing out the nade right now, trying to control both angles where FaZe is trying to make their approach. Last one up. FaZe knows it. Good peek background. Does get the knock. Now down into a 1v1. Both are weakened, trying to make sure that they get control over this area and then have a path into the circle. 8C on one side, GG98 on the other, trying to peek between. You can see vehicle on one side, hillside on the other one. That means 8C does have more movement to work around. Looks like he's just playing this one much slower, peeking back, trying to use the grass, but DG just has no vision, trying to listen in for footsteps, trying to get some information from his teammates. 8C just looks like he's going to run back, get some support, get a nade, and yep, tag it up together. He already knows where to drop it. That should connect. He's going to run away. Now no cover to be had. Nicely paid by FaZe.
Yeah, really nicely done here by 8C, getting that grenade from his teammate, and Bagel Pa had an early advantage. Now Tiggleton right on top of Ming gets a big knock there to open up this fight. Grenades exploding all around. Aches left trying to push forward. A bunch of damage falling into the Sonics now as another good grenade does damage in return to Petrichor Road. Trimsy up and over. Grenades right in his face are going to back him off, but really only the knock to Ming so far to Petrichor Road, the damage done in this fight.
T5 also has vision, well, not clean vision on this, but will whenever this fight is over. New Happy also caught up on what's going to be going on as SGD does go down. BBL still holding over here. Polish Power going to be to the east of them. Ming trying to get some vision in what's going on with BBL as these fights are just about trying to find a way into the zone. Sonics is going to have one of the members go down from James. Remember, we were talking about him a while ago, as the rest of Overpeakers are going to try to defend up this angle with T5 and Tyloo. So really, this is going to be really hard for anybody to come through. BBL is going to go down as we still have Polish Power making a move in New Happy's direction.
Yeah, New Happy's trying to keep Polish Power at bay, doing a pretty decent job of it. Cappy with a little bit of a whoopsies there. Just a knock on. And Orgus Ming hits Marcelic right in the head as he's trying to peek around the tree. That was some really crisp shooting. Now trying to find the angle, seeing if he can catch Marcelic just on the edge of the cover. Not going to happen this go around. New Happy has to start moving into the new circle as it begins to collapse. Where will Phase 6 take us?
We have managed to see most of our teams kind of compress into this one. Long on the outside of it, just to the west of Sonics. You can see kind of covered up by Ming, laying in damage onto Polish Power. Looks like they are going to go out right there. Now it's going to be New Happy that's going to have to move to the south, where T5 is already going to be positioned up at. Sonics are also pretty close along this wall. Don't forget about Overpeakers and Tyloo just to the south.
Yeah, this gets tricky now for the Sonics, who are just kind of getting harassed by OP and other teams as they try to work this cliff line, and eventually they're going to have to fight for that side. Could be even in this circle, perhaps. We'll see. Theraton 5 as well knows the Sonics are right underneath them to make matters worse, and they're going to start lobbing some grenades in. A splash of damage done to the Sonics, but you know, you can see Theraton 5 doesn't need to push down on this. They just need to try and do as much damage as they can to the teams below them for the time being.
Trying to figure out what they're wanting to do. They know where the Sonics are, but if they go for a peek, that means that they're just going to be revealed to potentially the Overpeakers down below them. Sonics trying to navigate this hillside, knows where we see T5 moving at, but there's just no clean sight lines for them as well. This is leading into a mutually assured destruction stage. New Happy still leaning into the north of this, taking shots into what's going on with the Polish Power. We saw that a second ago. Baited me over there as New Happy still needs to move into T5.
Yeah, T5 here still continuing to harass the Sonics underneath the hill. Now the knock onto Huynh. You can see the Sonics are desperately throwing stuns and everything they can at T5 to try to keep them at bay, but Ranger X with a Groza really wants to put the hurt down. top of the Susquehanna Sonics. Rossiter Jr. on New Happy watches. Ming Ming is going to be res there for New Happy. Still the Donuts 4 up, sitting pretty on the north edge of this circle phase, making their move right now. Rossiter Jr. can't see New Happy, just going for some spray and spray into the smoke.
I mean, New Happy trying to move into this, coming up back behind T5 is going to allow Sonics to have some more breathing room. Molotovs were dropped down right on top of him, but now New Happy contending with a very strong squad in T5 that's got a defensive line. Just Ming Ming up, near on no life, but you know he wants the game in his hands. Trying to move forward into it, he is going to go down, and now it's going to be Tyloo trying to move into Tiggleton's sightlines. He's going to go down. FaZe made a quick rotation into this, bypassing where we saw Entropic as well as Burram, but do manage to at least get one player into the center of the circle.
Yeah, CC down for Tyloo as they begin to try to do their own work onto the Sonics. They've got plenty of frags. They're doing some serious damage. If that one got up and did it, just came short. Tiggleton and Trimsy, the dynamic duo for the Sonics, hanging on by a thread right now. Is now 2 down, 3 down for Theraton 5 as USG has pushed out and they want to clear the high ground.
They've stepped up into this area. They had control down to the lower spot, and they want to make sure that they clean this up, and that is a good call. Try to pounce whenever teams are weakened. They come into this T5, come out, already see most of their team is down in this position now. Whereas Exos, he doesn't have anywhere he can go to except down into Sonics. I mean, Tyloo.
I mean, he's damned if he does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's damned. That's all there is to it. He is just gone. Yeah, dude. I was going to say he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. I mean, either way, he was screwed.
Yep. I do have to point out, OP's got themselves a good sight line into this. They can also play from safety, looking up that ridge. And this is a team that we have seen them in that last game put up some really solid defenses and make sure to punish teams as they try to make an approach in. EIQ, the closest team into them right now is Tyloo, trying to figure out how they want to wrap in. Diggory still inside the safe zone, as well as 2 members for USG who are probably going to regroup.
All right, Kane's got the AWM. I want to see him pop off with that. He is a stellar player. I think the best in Japan right now. Klib still with the bolts, and again, a lot of our EU teams are leaning into the bolts. You'd love to see it. Zhao Yang has a pretty good sight line on top of Mexi. He's going to need some cover fire. Well, that's good. Klib is going to get another headshot with the bolt. He's only got 2 bullets left.
They have been harassing everything. There's a reason they control this area around the road, is nobody wants to move down this hillside. Sonics were just pressed up against the wall, trying to use trees or whatever they could to avoid being harassed by overpeakers. Now, Tyloo, though, is the attrition war going to be enough to allow them to make a move through this one? Because they really can't replenish. Sure, they're seeing a lot of bodies go down, but with that road and just the open space that they would have to cross, that would require smokes or at least some type of send, that means that this is going to start to be a burn for them. How well can they defend it with the utility they still have?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I wonder if anybody has any 7s to pass over to Klib to give him, even 10 extra bullets would be wonderful here for this late game as we go into Phase 7. Looking at a replay here from Burram. They try to, oh no. Oh, that's, man. He got squished.
That is Burrumming at the Burrummest. Okay, so looking in,
feels bad, man.
USG's got the north under control right now as overpeakers are still trying to harass Tyloo coming in. Diggory is going to be right in front of them, trying to hold on to some type of safety in position. Zhao Yang's going to go down. Sia is going to be coming in along that similar path. Lots of smokes being used just to get down into the hillside, but Tyloo has at least managed to set a couple of feet inside the safe zone.
Yeah, by all rights, the USG Donuts have a really good opportunity to win this game. They just came in. This is their first game in, and they could actually do it. Now, a knock from Lucarux onto the overpeakers as they're trying to get into grenade range of Tyloo. They know they've got Tyloo bunched up. It's a juicy target for sure, but with Entropic on the corner of the circle, there's not much they can do to get there. And James, he might just be bleeding out here shortly. Still Diggory alive for FaZe. The wild card still left in this 5-team lobby.
OP was really the only team that had the numbers that could potentially compete up against USG unless we start to see some side flanks come in from these weakened teams. USG is going to still have control over the high ground, looking into everything as James does bleed out. You can see the overpeakers wanted to go across the road at that stage, but it's just EIQ. They've got a building down into the east of this and have a sight line up into the road, so any gap in the smokes is going to be punished.
Yeah, precisely. And to make matters worse, the Mark 14 also fell into the hands of the Donuts, so they've got an AWM, they've got a Mark 14. They're sitting on some pretty level 3 gear. Only 2 kills, still a ton of utility in their hands. They haven't had to fight a whole lot other than their push on to Theraton 5 to clear the top of this space, which was perfect perfectly timed, perfectly executed, the right move to put themselves in the position to win this one. It's just a question for the Donuts. You know, there is some experience with them, but relatively a young team, an up-and-coming team compared to a lot of these others that are in this lobby.
Just don't go near that rock. Pretty much, Tyloo, you've got Diggory saying, nope, I've dug into this spot. This is my home. Good luck, as Donuts might be eyeing more of an eastern shift with the way they've set up their vehicles, which could sim them. There is that building that's in front of them that's kind of in the zone that they can use for cover. That's going to put them pretty close to Entropic as well. So good job on making sure to deny the sight line from Overpeakers, but now they've put themselves very, very close to Entropic.
Yeah, and Tropic's already pieced out of the top part of this compound, so the bottom part is going to be where their fortifications have been made. It's just Lucarux and Ivix. I mean, it's just a real question of, for me, can the Donuts wipe those two cleanly, relatively cleanly, maybe only lose one?
Oh,
That's
no.
the most they can afford to lose.
Tyloo, they're smoking out, trying to avoid Overpeakers in this angle, but that's just going to smoke out Diggory, so that way whenever they walk out of the smokes, he's just going to have a clean vision of what's going on. You can see Overpeakers, though, throwing down some smokes of their own. They know that they're going to need to move. We are at Phase 8. It's closing in right now, and then we're going to be moving into everybody making the mad dash for the center dot. USG's got some vision into it. Korn's going to go ahead and regroup here, but you can see it's just some hills, some paths. That's about it. As Overpeakers know, they're going to be walking into a no man's land. Diggory finally gets the vision on Tongs, and now you can see Tyloo's like, what the hell do we do?
Yeah, that is just unfortunate.
But perfect for Overpeakers.
Exactly. OP's going to try to take advantage of it. Big grenade from Lucarux finds two.
That is massive. USG suddenly had the tables turned on him. Diggory still trying to fend up. Does manage to get another one down. Tyloo goes out. You can see that Faze still clinging to life over here, but it's going to be Overpeakers trying to make the push in as USG trying to recover. Entropic trying to hold the line into this one. Molotov's going to come down, take down another one. Americano trying to step away, but doesn't have any vision. It's just smokes everywhere. Diggory now trying to defend up over here against Overpeakers. Smokes still advantaging.
He got nailed by the molly, though, and he's just barely going to survive. Is he going to find enough time to get a heal off is the real question. Stuns between both teams. A molly out towards Entropic. Doesn't catch anybody on them. It's going to be a prone for Ivix. They're waiting for Americano to come out. He's going to inch around to the edge, not finding anything. More mollies to clear space here for the side of Entropic. A stun as well, but still Diggory, the wild card in play.
So much coming down into the stage. Overpeaker still with 3 up right now, but it's just going to be tattered teams coming in behind this. EIQ looking for Americano, still playing opposite smokes, but it's gonna be Diggory again, trying to take some form of control in this game. Overpeakers are so close to him, though. He's got to be careful with this. Smoke's coming down, but keep in mind, Entropic is going to have vision on Overpeaker's position.
All right, Diggory. Can you pull off some magic? Can you pull out some of that 2019 phase magic? Is it there? 3 members up for Overpeakers, but they're stuck on the edge. Diggory has such a good angle down into this. The Molly's caught a couple of them. They're stuck on the edge of the blue. He's raining with the AK. Can he find the knock? No, it's going to be the blue that gets him. No.
And with this, there's only 1 member up for EIQ. Overpeakers coming in. They've got the number. Spray's going to go ahead and connect onto one. Evos is trying to hold this one out. Blue's going to be coming up back behind him. Sprays. Evos bouncing between everything, trying to get some vision. Claim is going to go down, and it's going to be exchanged. Overpeakers get it with the last bit of the 1v1.
Oh, there's no way these guys played this game so patient, so smart. Clibs, Car 98 ran out of bullets, and they still come through and win this. You can see big hugs all around the veteran boys from the Overpeakers. Get it done. What a nail biter there at the end.
Man, that was so much EU on EU action over there. Trying to fight through. You gotta give the heart. Entropic holding on for as long as they can. That nade hitting 2 members.
That was the game.
That spun the entirety of the game around. I mean, even FaZe, Diggory, dude.
I thought he had it.
He just keeps finding these plays and keeps coming so close.
I thought he had it, dude. I thought Diggory had it. I was ready to lose my absolute marbles. You can see Fuzzface there, the former FaZe player, their coach now, coming over and giving some big hugs. Well deserved. Well played, boys.
Oh, man. 2 left, and this is just getting harsher and harsher to my soul. I can only imagine with those 3 on the desk, specifically 2 of them, feel about that last game.